Well, thanks for staying with us on Morning Express this Monday morning. Quite a crucial one with discussions around issues in the news. Our next guest joins us in the studios for more conversation as we make welcome Mr. Yusuf Muhyiddin. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's in the midst of a lot of debates on what 2027 holds for the political landscape in Nigeria.
Yeah.
The prominent conversations on the need for a lone opposition party.
Yeah.
A lot of persons have debated the convergence of an aggregate of political parties. There have been loads of comments from the ruling APC as to what they consider the ADC being a coalition of what they call wandering politicians, displaced politicians. A lot of nomenclatures have been banded around. What do you make of 2027 with the conversations around what might constitute a victory or failure for the APC as against oppositions?
Once again, good morning, listener. The 2027 is just a debacle that is still unfolding. And as it is now, the INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission, has not kickstart any political activities. There's no timetable coming from the INEC as to commencement of the 2027 election processes. But be as it may, politicians will be at it and will be trying to permutate, strategize towards the 2027 election. APC, the ruling political party and the leading political party, and I think the largest in Africa. If you look at the spread as it is today, they have about 23 states. And according to the president, he said there is still room for more. It's just like in politics, forming an alliance and getting more people to your fold, because politics is a game of number. The more people you get, the more comfortable you are as a party. So, and these people that you get across these 23 states may serve as gatekeepers for you during the election, especially the governors and Senate. And
why is that the notion quite recently that the more governors you have wins you an election? In 2015, it didn't seem to work for the then President Goodluck Jonathan, who recently at the birthday of his chief of staff said that he faced a lot of lies and betrayals.
You see, in the movement of some politicians in 2015 into the APC, heavyweight politician in the PDP, headed the victory of APC in 2015 because he lose about the party lose a former vice president.
But they still had governors at that time.
You see, there are governors you may have, but there are some other bigwig in the party. If they move away from your party, it may have a lot of ripple effect. Even some governors who are with you may be loyal to those. So that's what account for the loss of some states in 2015 and the general loss of, you can see the margin in that election is about 3 million. It was close to call, but then there are some activities, if it had been properly managed as at then, and you feel there are some agreement that the people made with the party made with Goodluck himself, if it had been properly managed and you are able to coerce people to at least talk to them.
How do you manage these agreements? Because Mr. Goodluck Jonathan told Nigerians a couple of days ago that some politicians cannot be trusted. They say one thing in the morning and by evening they have a different view.
So in some other climb, him too himself, as a Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, is not trusted. That's why some people move away. Let me give you the analogy of what really affected Goodluck. He came in with Yaradua in a joint ticket, and he spent 4 years as the vice president. Within that 4 years, more than 1.5 years, he spent as the president, the child of necessity that brought him as a president. Now he already had a swearing as a first time, even if it's not up to 4 years. But it was a joint ticket with Yaradua. Then in 2011, he came in and he had an agreement. He did not win 2011 election without a particular agreement with some people that probably will serve out the joint ticket with Yaradua. Now, after spending 5.5 years in the villa as the president, you enroll for another 4 years again. That will make you must have spent more than the necessary 8 years. And you know, in politics, it's permutation. If this person take this much time, when everybody is calculating. Some people are calculating age, Some people are calculating, I really have the means to do this now. So politicians will look at the necessity of that time to make permutation. So, and that the permutation has done that is that, okay, it eroded into the northern time to have served, Obasanjo from south have served 8 years, another southerner served 5 years. Then it only leave to the north with 2.5 years, and the north did not take it. We are one of those people that went to town and make sure that no.
This unspoken rule of power oscillating between the north and the south, which has come to be a problematic part of Nigerians' political landscape, although not constitutional, as many would argue, also is playing a role in these permutations ahead of 2027. A certain Aminu Tambawal has said the opposition coalition and the agenda to kick out the APC come 2027 is not a northern agenda. Does he really speak for the northern interest in this regard?
We are the north. Aminu Tambawal is not the only one who is a northerner. You are from Benue, you are a northerner. I'm from Kwara State, I'm a northerner. So when the time comes, the north will speak. He is speaking for himself, as far as I'm concerned. Even in his own domain, Sokoto, where he came from, even in the National Assembly, what is his standing as a legislator? What are his power of coercion to bring something to bear, maybe a policy? Like now, in the National Assembly, he is a senator. When there is some issue bordering about national development that's supposed to be looked into in the National Assembly, in the last 2 to 3 years that is being in the National Assembly, tell me one single bill that an Aminu Tambawal has bring to fruition as a senator. So if some people are talking, they talk only for themselves. And as far as the North is concerned, today we have the issue of using the North by some elite class to advance their personal and self-aggrandizement will no longer be tolerated. Let me give you an instance as to the developmental project under the Buhari-led administration. When Yaradua was in charge, you and I know what happened to the dredging of River Niger. And the dredging of River Niger was being given one of the 7-point agenda of late President Umaru Musa Yaradua. I'm not a PDP man, but that policy will have opened up at least 7 nautical miles around the interland waterways, and small barges of ship can come up to Jemare in Kebbi State if that River Niger is dredged. Not to talk of Lokoja, not to talk of Onitsha port. These are small ports that will open up the interland. Now, a northerner came to power in person of Buhari. In those 8 years, what was done on that project? So where were they? These people that are now going about and saying they served the north. Barrow Port was commissioned. What was commissioned in Barrow Port was just the deck. The dredging that's supposed to be done to make navigability an easy thing was not done. And now this same set of people will come and tell us that they are talking for the north. So we have grown beyond that.
You believe Nigerians have gone beyond that sentiment? Let me tell you, the original sentiment.
You can't. There is one thing they used to say that every day is for the thief, but one day will be for the owner. So going forward, there are times of using the north as a bargaining chips for their personal self-aggrandizement is gone.
Are you sure Nigerian voters would be able to prove you right come 2027?
You see, diverge Nigerian voters from the northern voters. There is this common cultural affinity in the north that when the leader speaks and all the followers will converge. It's a kind of feudalist state of a thing. So we normally listen to our leaders when they talk. But over the years, we have listened to them, and where has it gotten us? Let me give you an instance. This insecurity ravaging the north, from Kwara, Kogi, Benue, Zamfara, and Borno, and the likes. Where are the northern elders in the last 15 years to muzzle the strength? We have the largest number in the army. By our size, we have everywhere we have the largest number. We have 19 northern states and the FCT, making it 20, leaving the remaining 16 for the south. Where are the northern elders when our schools are being ravaged? Where was their wisdom when we are being taken from our houses and being slaughtered? So the northern elders always come to the table when politics come. Let me give you an instance. As I'm talking to you today, the industrial base of Nigeria is in the south. We have raw materials in the north. When we are growing up, you will see goldsmiths in the neighborhood doing gold. Somewhere in Mina, in the Ilorin, you will see goldsmith. Because we have flints of gold in our ground, and they will pick it, make it. Where are the goldsmiths today? This is an industrial base being eroded. We have agriculture. 70% of all the raw materials that they use in industries are agricultural based. Did not have arable land. Only the North Central have about 26% of the Nigerian landmass. Today, what is the input agriculture is making in the Nigerian economic space? And that's the strength of the North. So if you now say the North, is it the North of only the elite or of the North of developing the North? So if they are saying that they are fighting for the North, how are they fighting for the North? So that's why I'm saying that going forward, we will make our decision individually as far as the North. So Aminu Tambuwa is just being clever by half, and as President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu said, they are coalition of confused people. And if time will permit, I will tell you how these people are a coalition of confused people. Because yesterday, all of them are in the APC. Benefited, they were given mandates as governors, as ministers. What was the deliverable when they are in the office? Apart from chaos and confusion. Now, this set of people will now bring them together and say they are talking for the North, or they are trying to coalesce. On what basis? On what ground?
They've said one of the agendas is to kick President Bola Ahmed Tinubu out of the villa come 2027.
Is that an agenda? Kicking somebody out? Why? For what reason? You must give us issues. If I don't like Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, let's say I'm somebody that doesn't like him, but today, as I'm talking to you, 400,000 students out of 1.8 million students are in the Nigerian universities. Of this 1.8 million, about 600,000 of them are people that are working. Maybe they are in the National Open University. You know, National Open University is meant for people that are working and at the same time they are schooling. Now, so they are not maybe they are not much considered because they are already working. But of those people that are in 1.2 million remaining that are in school, 400,000 are collecting school fees and they are being paid.
Are you talking about the students' loan program?
That program alone has given Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to me, a scorecard of sustenance, because these students, it's unprecedented in anywhere in the world for you to have that sizable number within the first 2 years of an administration collecting school fees. Now they have been in power all over the years. What have they done something like that for us?
But in the alternative, WAS is a good arrangement for one of the best investments anyone can make in education.
Yeah.
The sustainability in terms of employment, which following the latest MBS reports, our unemployment in the country still ranks quite high.
Yeah, unemployment rate.
Unemployment rate. What's the assurance that these graduates will be absorbed into the labor market where jobs are very scarce?
You see, when statistics are drilled out, there are other variables that you can look at. Okay, because people are not employed, is this the reason why they will not be educated? Because an educated mind is a mind that can make decisions and become, at least, you have taken him out of illiteracy. And it's a government responsibility to make sure that they provide the enabling environment or the enabling policy to make people access education. And out of these people, when they have quality education, most of them will be labor, they will be people that when they finish their studies, some of them will practice privately. And in the long run, some of them
would now be the ones to create jobs.
Employers of labor. So the policy of just saying that because there are problems, you will not. The more problem we solve, the more problem we create.
Now, this scorecard, which you believe the students' loan scheme is a strong point of, do you think this would be sufficient enough to convince Nigerians come 2027?
If I'm a minder of the All Progressive Congress and I'm into a kind of somebody that want to strategize for them, those student population are target population. They have parents. So by the time you tell them, we've done this for you, who much is given, they say, much is expected. Then we've done this for you. Canvass your parents. Now, if every student bring their father and mother, punch the calculator, that's about 1.2 million votes for the APC. But it's not that you are not, the APC may not be doing it
as a strategy,
as a strategy for 2027. But as I'm talking to you, that's a good point, because those students will always they will turn up for the APC during the election. Then leave that. As I'm talking to you now, all the technical school in Nigeria, because the government is looking at trying to shift away from consumption to production, and technical school are the selling point of that policy. Now the government, students in secondary school and all technical school in Nigeria are being paid some stipend monthly so that they will be focused on school. Do you know how many students are in technical school in Nigeria? I'm not talking about tertiary education. This is technical school. The government has made a policy that will keep them in school so that they will have hand. I know you're talking about employment. By the time you can use your hand to make something, you don't need most people that can create shoe, you can do
that remains a subject of debate. Let's not get into that, because a lot of people talk about how much is the wages they earn and how much they live above $1.
If I'm a tailor, if I'm a fashion designer, I don't need wages.
You don't need gainful employment.
As a fashion designer, you can sew clothes, you can make dress, and when people patronize you and you are very good, you know how many clothes you can make a day. You can make a shirt and trouser, maybe twice. You can make 3 in a day. Maybe you are paid 2,000, 6,000 naira per day. Calculate that in a month. So before you know, and you go in business, then with the education, an educated mind is a strategic mind.
Now let's come back to 2027 and stay with it.
Yeah.
It's in view of what the opposition chances are.
Yeah.
A certain Barrister Kenneth Okonkwo was speaking in an interview.
Yeah.
And he talked about ADC being the only way that APC might have to sweat going into the polls.
Yeah.
He's of the Labour Party.
Yeah.
He said that the PDP and the Labour Party just exist only on paper,
yeah,
and do not have what it takes to rival the APC in 2027.
Yeah.
How much can be deduced from his statement?
And you see, that is one thing that is I don't want to use this word, but I will be forced to use it so that we can get clarity. There are pastoral politicians who they don't believe in ranching as far as political ranching is concerned. You get what I'm trying to make at? So these people are pastoralists. And
they don't believe in pitching their tents with one party.
No.
In terms of loyalty.
By the time you are not principled, let me tell you one thing. It's not yet in the APC that there is not. It's not that there is no problem in the APC, but there is a discipline, because this life itself that we are in, every day we revolve around problem. But in APC, even if there is problem, they have internal mechanism of making sure that that problem is properly managed. Muhammadu Buhari starts with a very disciplined regime, and it put everybody into line. Those people who are not ready to be disciplined, you understand, they have to leave the APC. Then when they leave, the people that are there today people that are in the APC are tactically disciplined and strategically logical. So if somebody like Okonkwo that has moved in the last 5 years from 1 or 2 3 political parties just in 2 election cycle, want to take on Asiwaju that has been a pillar of stability in one political party, only building alliance across board. You stay where you are, you allow people to come and meet you, then you have, and that's why a Muhammadu Buhari from CPC can come. Somebody like the former Imo State Governor, what is it called? The Konkoso of this world, they came together. Those people who lack discipline, those are people that you see now. And within that space of time, like Abubakar Atiku now, he has moved from PDP, now ADC. So when they call them a coalition of confused politicians, you know there is a point in that, because when somebody cannot be stable in a place, there's something wrong with that person, and such a person should not be trusted with power.
Now, pastoralist is one word you have used to describe them.
Yeah.
However, there's strength in numbers.
Yeah.
When you look at even the 2023 general elections and what a certain former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar was able to amass in terms of votes.
Yeah.
Don't you share the sheer projection that if he collides with forces like Peter Obi under the ADC, they might be able to garner the numbers together?
You see, the dynamics of every season and every election period is different. Going into 2027 is a different ball game. Let me give you an analogy of the coastal road that is being constructed. 9 states know the economic viability of that road. When it's 9 states, from Calabar down to Lagos, 9 states will benefit directly on that. There is a train that will follow that road. The people along that road are not animals. They are human beings who can see the vision that this president has put along that corridor. Even if that road is completed by 50% before this first tenure, They expect that if he had the second tenure, the road will be completed by 100%. These are dynamics that will shape along
The
those
voting patterns.
along that 9 states.
You think
There's
that-
another one, the Sokoto Badagry, 1,600.
Are you sure that the voting population, the electorate, are thinking along this line?
You and I are Nigerian. You know we are very.
We know we've had issues of vote buying, despite the poverty
you and
levels. People go with their PVCs on voting day,
let me
take mega sums of 5,000, 10,000, and cast their ballots wherever they choose.
let me give you.
Without thinking about this crucial points you've raised.
I want to give you 3 state governors, and I want to spread them across the geopolitical zone. In Niger State, which is a North Central state, the governor is doing 1,000 kilometers of road. He's an APC governor. He's building the medical school in Mina. That place will be an Ariwa hotel, later Shiroro hotel. He's turning the place into a medical school. The whole of Niger State, 11% of Nigerian landmass does not have a medical school. The governor is doing that. There was a flood in Shiroro and Mokwa. The policy he introduced in settling the people that are ravaged by that flood is to rebuild a big community of new house for more than 100 houses with school, clinic, both Mokwa and that Shiroro because of the flooding, taking them away from the water side. Down. I'm giving you the landmark project that this governor are doing in Edo State. The Monday of Pobolo has moved the state away from the doldrum. The Benue line, which will be a transport link of Edo State, has been
Edo line, rather.
Edo line, yeah. Edo line has been given a facelift, and the commuters in that state are enjoying a bumpy ride of more than 20 years that this thing has been in moribund. Leave that. Let me now go to a PDP state in the southeast. What Mba is doing in Enugu is unprecedented in the history of Enugu. Let's take education. He has digitized the education sector as to if a teacher is not in the classroom, the governor will know in government house. You get how digitized? If a teacher did not go to class today, or some set of students are not taught, the governor will know. That's how digitized the state. And when Mba was asked as to how he was able to achieve this feat, he told the world clearly that it was Asiwaju-led administration that gave him that leverage. So if I say I should point in one after the other as to what the administration has been able to do to make sure that there is a lot of development and we have shifted away. The train of stagnancy in Nigeria has left their station. So, and those people that you see in the coalition, I bet not to use this word, but they are one of those people that have been holding us back over the years. It's better they collide and so that Nigerian can move forward.
Now, quite agreeable.
Yeah.
The blueprints to where Nigeria ought to be in terms of transformation at the federating units.
It's already begun all over we have left their station.
But currently,
Yeah.
in terms of the economic realities, in terms of food inflation, in terms of the value of the current 70,000 naira minimum wage,
Yeah.
this morning the NLC is talking about a review of the wage
Yeah.
to reflect the current realities.
Yeah.
All this would play a role in 2027 as well,
Yeah.
with many Nigerians believing that as beautiful as these economic policies are,
Yeah.
a piecemeal approach would have made it easier for Nigerians to bear, and hence the reason why many are contemplating another choice.
Yeah. You see, let me give you an analogy that I believe in. If you are going to the right town, and on your way to the right town is a rough road, if you avert that rough road, you will never get to the right town. This is a philosophy of those who want to succeed. And trying to compare it to what we are discussing is that any time there's a government policy or whatever, even your own personal life, if you introduce a policy like, okay, if I wake up in the morning, I want to go for an exercise, let's say twice, 3 times in a week. When you start, immediately you start, you will feel a lot of pain. But the consistent and the persistence and continuity that will guarantee that the benefit that's supposed to come from such decision. But if you chicken out, the subsidy, for instance, must go. How it goes, because it's a conduit pipe of corruption and fraud. So if it did not go, it will remain stagnant. So this man came on the first day and give you the sledgehammer. Yes, we will feel the pinch. But like the presidency, is the pain of a childbirth. And when the child comes to life, everybody will jolly and happy to have a beautiful child. Nigeria has left the station of those naysayers, people who don't believe in the future of Nigeria. Those people that are colluding in the coalition are those people who do not have, when they were trusted with power, they did not leave any good record in the test of time. So when they've colluded in one place, let 2027 come, then we will see how Nigeria will respond to them.
Well, Yusuf Muhyiddin believes that come 2027, the Nigerian electorate will be able to vote beyond the sentiments of the Northern agenda and the sentiments of the easy gains now. Now, current realities as it concerns the economy are ones that has affected parents and guardians. The 2025/2026 academic session has resumed today, Monday, the 8th of September. A number of private and public schools across the country opened their gates to welcome back returning students. Now, it's also off the back of the financial burden in terms of school fees, in terms of textbooks, and what have you, as imposed by proprietors. Now, this is one of those banes of parents and guardians as to how to cater for the students who would be returning to schools. Now, faced with calls by labor unions across the country for an improvement in wages, with the 70,000 naira minimum wages signed into law by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu being called insufficient, it is with the calls as to what the parents can do in the interim to ensure that education, which you say liberates the mind of a youth and sets them on course to prosperity, is afforded them. How do we discuss this issue with respect to the parents at a crucial period as this?
We all are parents in one way or the other, and we grow up as a child and we know how we went to school. It will be a disservice to say that there's no difficulties, but one thing is that there's a scholar that said, if you say education is expensive, then try ignorance. Some of the governors, let me give you an instance of Yobe State. Even to the extent that the Yobe State government are paying students that are in private school. They have some number of students that they pay. So in some states, as it is today, education is virtually, especially the secondary school education and primary school, is virtually free from the state. Then as parents, whatever it is that we are doing, we know that we have to manage our resources so as to accommodate the education of our wards. So these are something that the parents should be able to live by as far as the students resume to school. Over the years, when we are in school, anytime the resumption is coming like this,
but
we don't
let's
want
be
to hear.
practical.
Yeah.
Have you received a number of calls from persons asking you, Mr. Yusuf, in all honesty, I've been able to put together this sum, school opens on Monday, I need this assistance from you.
Even when school is not opening, people are calling. It's not only when school, there are things that, in as much as we are in this world, we have cadre of human beings. So those people that are at the top, we must cater for those people that are beneath. It's a natural phenomenon that goes. As we will continue to have those people who are maybe financially constrained among us. And the main intent as humanity is that help those who help themselves. So God has created us for those who are weak, who are strong, to help the weak.
But where can the government come in terms of transportation for school children? I know a lot of promises, particularly with the removal of subsidy, was hinged on the availability of CNG buses to ease the cost of transport. But in all honesty, the same way I asked the earlier question of how many people have reached out for financial aid, I was discussing with a friend of mine who was permutating how to get around the cost of school bus charges for two of his children, with arrangements trying to see if he can get another neighbor to ferry his children to and back from school. That's how bad it has become.
You see,
the government's responsibility in terms of those CNG buses, as expected, is lingering on, going into the third year of that promise.
That's why when we were discussing the political angle of the state of the nation, I let you know that the builders of Rome did not get there overnight. And if there's a new policy, like now, if you go to, I still want to come back to Niger State. If you go to Niger State now today, the level of construction going on in Mina has made even the road impassable, because everywhere if there is no construction site there, the state capital has been torn because of the new Niger project. So even to move vehicle is very difficult. So it has even compounded the woes, but those are the pains we bear so that we can have a viable Niger. Now, the governor himself, because of that constraint, has made a free bus for all students, regardless of...
Now, this is just a case study.
I'm just giving you... And you see, I don't want to go into because education is very, very vital. And I know...
I agree with you. There should be a template that can be replicated across the states, much like it's been done in Mina. I know in Plateau, Governor Mutfwang also has those city buses that are giving subsidized transport fares to
in Niger State, as far as you are a student, you go to the road in the morning. There's a vehicle to
understand you.
Any school you are going,
but now,
either private or what I'm just trying to say, that I don't want to, you see, when education and parenting is concerned, I'm always on the side of parent because government must do more to take care of the masses.
Now for the parents who would have to deal with this, this politics of Nupeng, Dangote, and whatever the new fuel price would be, availability and scarcity, there seems to be a lot happening.
You know, this Dangote, Nupeng, it will be a long drawn battle. You know, the petroleum, I told you on this program sometime that the most opaque sector in Nigeria is the petroleum sector, where there are black mafians. They're not only ordinary mafia, black mafians.
But Mr. Yusuf, whatever their mafia ship is, the timing of this, resumption of schools to coincide...
You see, they might have done it deliberately so that it will have a pinch on the government. Nupeng is a very, very notoriously rich body that with a power, the power they hold on the government over the years is about to be thwarted by the presence of Dangote. And there's no way they will not continue to give a fight back as to, because what Dangote is trying to do to them will take them out of the system. Because Dangote has involved a policy of a capitalist businessman who knows what he's doing. And he has drawn a long draw battle line with the Nupeng. And
agreed. Agreed.
So
in the interim.
And
don't forget, we're talking parents and school resumption.
No, I'm saying that when the two elephants fight, it's the grasses that normally suffer. So what I'm just trying to bring up upon is that if there is a problem, prepare your mind. This is a forecast because it's a long drawn battle. What we just expect is that the government should come in and put a stop to this madness from Nupeng, and they should check Dangote to not to be a monopoly enterprise that will monopolize the petroleum space. If that check and balance is being done by the government, I think that with time, this impasse will be resolved by the two warring parties. But I know that Dangote is trying to give them a blow below the belt, and they're trying to do what they do in Boston to have a cover.
Well, they'll have a dialogue today and we'll find out the outcomes. Let's come back to the school matter.
Yeah.
The statistics on out-of-school children.
Yeah.
Some other government policies and programs over time, like the school feeding program, which was engineered to engender more enrollment in schools, seem to have faced their own roadblocks. Now, amid this biting economy, would you advise that the Renewed Hope agenda fashion out some policy and programs to help parents cushion the effects of the biting economy and engender enrollment to curb the number of out-of-school children?
You see, the rate at which the rate at which the government is trying to roll out policy as to expectation of Nigeria is something that needs to be worked on. Sometimes the government have laxity in trying to make what they call upfront consultation before you make a policy. They are supposed to be involving the public involvement in policy implementation and policy formulation. If this is done, I think everybody will have been carried along in the scheme of things. And that's where the laxity comes in the side of government. Because most often at time, you make policy, this policy are directed towards the people, but you don't consult these people before you make the policy. And that's the gap that the government needs to bridge going forward. So as it is today, the parent should know the nature and of what is going on in government. Like what I was trying to hit at in Niger State is that the government saw that, okay, I'm doing a lot of projects. The whole road in the state has scattered. And getting by, where bike used to be 500 naira, now it's 1,105. Because of the level of construction going on in the state. You can't even, the roads are impassable. So you have to use maybe Okada or this other tricycle. So, and they are not, Nigerian, they will capitalize on it. They not charge exorbitant fear because of they saw the opportunity and they are cashing in on it. So what is now happening is that the parent and the government must come together and make sure that they see how they can, because in all schools, when we are in school, we have the PTA, the Parent Teachers Association, the teacher from the government side. Then they will just work out a solution. Then, by and large, some parents have school that are close to home. So those are the
some considerations that can be had.
That can be had. You look for a school that's close to where your children will be able to ferry them back, forth and back. But normally in life, challenges abound. And in fact, in my own principles, I just came to life to face challenges. It's how will you now weather the storm that makes you...
Now, this consideration in terms of schools closer to home is a big subject you've touched on.
Yeah.
It's from the angle of the level of confidence in public schools as against private schools.
Yeah.
There seems to be a loss of trust and confidence in the quality of education obtainable in public schools.
Yeah.
On the other angle, a lot of Nigerian parents are going for private schools where the fees are very exorbitant.
Yeah, even the principal and some of the things they indulge in, like all this graduation, the cost, things that are not necessary. You pay some fees, and you look at why am I paying this fee?
How do we revive this trust in public schools?
It's not boiled down to, when they say government, it's you and I. Because government is not in isolation. So we must come together and find a way to jojo so that we can have a front as to how to move this nation forward. And in the education sector, the Ministry of Education must formulate a policy and they have the inspectorate, the education inspectorate, that's supposed to monitor the activities of even the private school, because all the private schools are licensed by the government. So in such, there are some little control and mechanism, even as to pricing. You can't just, somebody, some school, you want to, the real cost of you pay for WAEC, supposed to be maybe 20,000, 30,000 naira. But some school collected up to 500,000 for paying that your child want to write WAEC. And the money they will remit to WAEC. After you have paid your school fees, the amount of money they will remit to WAEC is very minimal. So that's that. They have to come together and have a...
You might need a moment there. Now, it's the conversation with schools resuming today. There are a lot of different angles to this conversation amid the biting economy as to how considerate proprietors can be in pegging fees and the prices of textbooks and other materials for returning students, whilst the onus lies on the government in terms of responsibility in reviving trust in public schools. There's also the lingering issue of out-of-school children as well. All these are part of the factors affecting the current data and statistics available as to how enrollment is going, and with the current issues of a pending fuel scarcity, parents might have their tables full. But in the last 5 to 7 minutes of this conversation, as we look to wrap it up, let's look to move away and accommodate electricity as our last focus. Now, earlier on in the program, conversations were on the national grid. With the exit of premium customers, as it were, a certain 5.6 trillion naira in revenue is going to be potentially lost. Now, I know people have talked about the need for off-grid solutions and whatnot, but in your opinion, with this impending reality, what's the future of Nigeria's power grid?
Depending, I used to have a little play around word that the national grid is very greedy. So, what happens in that sector is that the problem is that the vast Nigerian landmass, about 1 million square kilometers that Nigeria has, and the power source and the hydropower stations and the gas turbine are still very, very far away from the numbers. Like in Niger State, for instance, we have the Shiroro Dam, we have the Jeba Dam. The entire dam we have generate about 4,000 megawatts. Now, the population of Niger State is about 6 million or thereabout. Then the industrial base of Niger State can take care of 15 million people in terms of resources that are inherent in Niger State if it is properly harnessed. What do you need to work? In our little physics and science, they say energy is the ability to do work. If you have 4,000 megawatts, the whole of Niger State, they cannot step down 500 megawatts in Niger State so that Niger State can utilize it to power its industry, its agriculture, and other. So now they want to ferry this power. Some of this power is ferry up to the Niger, up to Sokoto. So among the clustered space, there are viable energy source that you can, like in the north, wind and solar. There are hybrid energy that can be tapped into.
I agree with you. Now, the challenge is in the revenue. Like you've mentioned, Niger, the likes of Jigawa, Zamfara, Lagos, Delta, and Katsina had already signed agreements with the federal government to exit the national grid with their agencies leaving. Now, what this does is, the reality is that it leaves households, petty businesses on the national grid. And most of them cannot even afford this alternative energy sources. What does this do for the revenue drive of the government?
You see, today, me and you know that if you have like 2 million naira, you can stay away from NEPA. All you need is to regulate what you do as at when. Just you have an inverter, you have a solar panel, then you illuminate your house. You can have a fridge that is hybrid, that can consume less energy, and within some time you regulate it. And you and NEPA, you have no business. What I'm saying is that if properly shaped out, that's when we talk about this empowering the local government, allowing the local government to be autonomy. To have autonomy, if you have autonomy in the local government, every local government can look within its space. Like in Bida in Niger State, the solar radiation and intensity is high throughout the year, very hot. So the sparkles and the insolence that you need to generate, that the solar panel need to generate electricity, will be plentiful. Based on that comparative analysis, be that local government and aligning towns can go on. Then every industrial parks can now use every generator that will be powered by gas and other things. So if you look within your space, you can't ferry a wire from Kainji down, aiming to go to Sokoto with it, and you think you will not have problem. There will be problem. It's just like you have something in your house, and you have your own, you refuse to use what you have.
So in essence, you're calling for a further unbundling of transmission.
You see, we are getting there, only that people are not seeing the reality. That's why I said, you and I now, you have a 2-3 million naira, you can do something for yourself, and you stay away from all this NEPA bullshit. You are off the
language, please, Mr. Yusuf. Well, as much as this is what time would permit for us to discuss, it's been a pleasure having you on the program this morning. We look to have you as much as these issues arise, hopefully going into next week. We appreciate you for your time on the program.
It's nice being here, and good morning, listeners.